Hey.
Oh, now the meeting is being recorded in progress. I'll click the got it to make that go away. Welcome to the SDEBA's Power Lunch. We do this once a month. It's our chance to have networking without having to leave our seats to do it. I'm your host, Milo Shapiro, a public speaking coach, and this is the San Diego Equality Business Association. We are the Chamber of Commerce for San Diego's LGBT community and its allies. We welcome anyone who wants to be here, regardless of their orientation. This is our November event. If you're watching it played back on Facebook, November 2021, that is. And if you haven't celebrated it yet, today is apparently Vanilla Cupcake Day. So if you haven't had yours yet, go get one right after the meeting. At this time, I would invite you to mute yourself with the Alt-A in Windows or Shift-Command-A in Mac. Nice little shortcuts to know instead of searching with your mouse that what to click. And please turn on the chat. Someone might have a reason to send you a message. It could be under the More button if you're on a small screen. Also turn on the participants window, because as we all introduce ourselves later, that will be important for you to know where you are in the list. We are recording this, so it will end up on both YouTube and our Facebook page eventually, so just be conscious of that. But that's a good opportunity because people who play it back, and we do get playbacks, we can see that, we'll get to hear about your business. Today's sponsor is freshenyourphoto.com, where you can take a shot as damaged as this and make it look as nice as this. You can have your ex-wife totally taken out of that shot that you don't want her in anymore. You can take a shot like that and make it beautiful. So don't tolerate your photo, freshen your photo. If you'd like to be a sponsor of an upcoming meeting, let us know by sending a note to us, info@sdeba.org. Well, that one's not supposed to be there. Here we go. Are helping us out today. We have CJ Gilbert in the background, our web design man, who does so much more than web design, but that's what he puts himself out there as. And Brenda Geary is not here yet, so we may have to ask Barbara Eldridge if she'll step in to be our timer. She's always wonderful at stepping in at the last minute. Hopefully Brenda is still going to jump in because she did register. Our SDBA board, you can see we have Jeremy, Bridget, and Art in the top row, Dorian in the second row, and we are still looking for a few people to fill 3 slots that are open. So if you would like to get more involved with SDEBA, please let us know. We can tell you more about how to do that. What do we stand for? Barbara, why don't you tell us what our mission statement is?
Absolutely. The San Diego Equality Business Association promotes the LGBTQ influence through business ownership, workforce equality, and active consumerism, creating prosperity to support equality, diversity, and inclusion.
Well done. Well done. Nice organization ideas that we all stand behind. So being a member entitles you to be listed on our website. You can see here, if you search for realtor, you would see at least 3 of them. There might be more if you scroll down. And then if you clicked on one, just as an example, if you clicked on Tamara, you'd see a whole profile on her. It's one of the best benefits of being in the organization. We also have a great app that helps you know what's going on in the organization. People can reach out to you that way, upcoming events and so on. We have our mixers. We had 2 so far this year, 2021 being a not so normal year, but we had a wonderful one in the summer down in the bottom right. And we just had one at Oseas Villatoro's store in October, which was really nice. Hopefully there'll be more things to come in 2022 if things start to open up a little more. And we do have one more event coming up. We'll talk about that at the very end. We also have our online events like this one, though. If it's hard to get out and about all the time, our lives are busy. Once a month, we do have our little check-in here where we have our speaker and we have a chance to talk about our business, get to know each other a little bit better. And that looks a little more like that. What is today about? It's to give you a chance to share what you offer to a larger section of the SDEBA community than you might otherwise meet. It's a chance for others to learn about what others are offering in case you can support them. We provide education in various areas, and it helps grow the SDEBA family by just all getting to know each other a little bit better. What this isn't is exclusive by industry, so we could have multiple people come to a power lunch who do the same thing, and we're okay with that. It's not a chance to learn too intimately about each other's businesses because we're only going to be sharing for about 45 seconds. So follow up with people if you find something they say interesting. And it's not a replacement for our business networking groups. This is where people get together, the same group every week. It is exclusive by industry, and that's where we have a chance to really, week by week, get to know what each other does. I recognize some people here from my business networking groups. I could probably do Barbara Eldridge's pitch for her group at this point if I needed to, because I've gotten to know it so well as a part of the BNG, and she could probably do that for me as well. A commitment. If this is not a commitment, if you have business you must take care of course you should do that first. But always do try and keep the calendar open on that second Wednesday of the month in case nothing does come up, because we'd love to have you here. And it's not a place to sell to us. Sure, we use each other's services to some degree, but better to make advocates of the people in this room by making them able to talk about what you do to others rather than just selling to them. So our meeting format, I'll finish this in opening soon. We'll do our member introductions. We'll have our guest interview with Kelly Taylor. I'll tell you about upcoming events and announcements, and we'll have our official closing no later than 1 o'clock. After that, we sometimes do extended Q&A, and Kelly has said that if people do have questions, she's happy to stay after 1 o'clock when we turn off the cameras on the Facebook. How do you know when it's your turn? That's what the participants window is. We go down it alphabetically. There are a couple of people at the top who are co-hosts. They go first, and then we go alphabetically from there. When you hear your name, that's the time to unmute. Not before, because you'll change your place in the list and I'll lose you. So wait till you hear me call your name. That's the time to unmute. You can certainly just share orally, or if you know how to use it, you can do the screen sharing to share something, maybe some photos or part of a website, as long as you can get it done in your time slot. Afterwards, please do remute so we don't hear you shuffling around while the next person's going. And if you shared your screen, undo that. And finally, over in the chat area, please put your big 5, your name, your website, your phone, your email, and your LinkedIn, or any combination thereof. And you can tell us a little more about your services there as well. Keeping us on time today, Barbara Eldridge is going to be our timer. It's not going to be Brenda. I didn't have time to switch out that photo at the last minute. So she doesn't look like that, but she'll still be holding up her little signals. At 35 seconds, that's your signal to start wrapping up because you got 10 seconds left. She's got something yellow there. That was good. It kind of flew by, Barbara, but I saw it for a second. At 40 seconds, she's going to give you the red, which is basically saying you want to be finishing that sentence, because at 45 seconds, she'll be saying, thank you. And thank you is the lovely way of saying stop now, but she's more polite than to yell stop now. So thank you is how she does it. And away we go. So we're going to head over to our attendees list. I'm going to get myself out of PowerPoint mode here so that we can all see each other a little bit better. So I'll stop sharing and I'll open up my participants window where I can see it. And at the top of the list, I see CJ himself. So CJ, would you like to share for 45 seconds about your business?
I would love to. Hello, everybody. I'm CJ Gilbert. I've been a website developer for over 25 years, and now I'm a speaker and author. I teach business owners what to do with their website in terms of using it as a tool to attract more customers, make more sales, improve their customer service, increase the efficiency, the productivity of their business. In just a second, I'm going to drop a link to my SDEBA resource page where you can help yourself to my free video workshop, my podcast, Ask a Web Geek. I've even got a free bonus training on LinkedIn right over here on the side. Feel free to share any of these resources with your network. CJ Gilbert, Gilbert Studios, and the Ask a Web Geek podcast. We understand the internet is a jungle.
Grr. I like that I'm unmuted. I'm ready for the grr in your jungle. Okay, and next up we have Jeremy Wilson, our president, who is the co-host. So he's at the head of the alphabetic list as well.
Thank you, Milo, and I love the grr, CJ. That's great. For those of you that don't know me, I'm president of SDEBA since May of 2019. It's great to see all of you. Thank you for coming to our final power lunch of 2021, and excited about 2022 and having these go further. Just briefly, I just wanted to mention that part of the core programming is NGLCC certification for LGBT-owned business. So if your business is 51% or more LGBT owned, a special certification is available. It's a $400 value, and it's complimentary with membership. So it can open the door to procurement opportunities and all sorts of things. Jeremy with SDEBA.
Thank you. And now we'll get to the alphabetical part of our list. So Barbara just happens to be our top one with the letter B. Barbara, unmute and share with us.
I'm Barbara Eldridge. I'm founder and coordinator of MindMasters. We're the support system for the small business owner. And on a weekly basis, those small business owners have an opportunity to share those challenges, those ideas, those resources that are so important to move their businesses forward. We do it now on Zoom, and we invite people to visit our group. So it is a time of the year that it would be important for you to perhaps take the time to visit and make sure you're ready for 2020. Barbara Eldridge with MindMasters.
Thanks, Barbara. Next up, we have Dorian Brewer from State Farm.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Dorian Brewer, State Farm Insurance. So I love what I do, and I love meeting with my clients. I love asking them, hey, what's important to you? what keeps you up at night. Maybe there's some solutions I can come up with. And if anything, maybe review what you currently have and make sure you know what you know, and what you don't know can possibly affect you. So that's my job. I love it. I love what I do. Fortunately, I'm part of a great organization that taught me what I do. When I started the organization, I was just a fledgling team member, and now I'm a business owner. So great organization. And if you guys haven't joined, you should. And Kelly, we miss you. Anyway, Kelly, thank you. Hi, Dorian Brewer, State Farm Insurance. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. Next up, we have Justin Petras. So there you go, unmute.
There we go. All right. Hi, I'm Justin Petras. I am a multi-unit manager and retail leader. Currently on my reinvention tour and looking for a new role. So my previous roles have been in retail home furnishings and interior design, and also in food service with Starbucks. So I know coffee, I know retail, I also know theater from my background at UCLA. So I've got a lot of things to bring to the table, and looking forward to meeting people and connecting to find new connections for that next role. Thank you.
Thanks, Justin. I wish you were here right now because I just ran out. So
I
could have used a refill from you. We'll keep that in mind. Next person I have up is Kelly herself. And although she's going to be sharing a whole lot of information with us, maybe you'd like to take a little time to just tell us about your company. But you're muted.
Okay. Thank you, Milo. Kelly Taylor. I'm an energy consultant, primarily in the field of solar. I currently represent Smart Solar Design Construction. We're headquartered in right in Mira Mesa, install all over San Diego and Orange and Riverside County, and just passionate about the field of clean energy and cleaning up our environment and our climate and our world, and happy to do my little part in that, saving the world one rooftop at a time. So I'm all things solar. So thanks so much, Milo.
Thanks, Kelly. Looking forward to our interview. Over now, if you would unmute yourself, Lynn, is Lynn Mitschke.
Oh, hi, I'm Lynn Mitschke, and I was having a hard time getting on today. I didn't seem to get the email, but here I am. So I'm an energy and Cal Green code consultant and also a Greenpoint rater. So I'm really interested in hearing what Kelly has to say today. And my company is San Diego Green Rating. And I also work with cities, jurisdictions on code. And that's my other company, Mitschke Energy Cal Green.
Thanks, Lynn. And you're not the only person who said they didn't get the notice. It's just odd because it worked right away for me. So please know that we started about a month or two ago, including it in the announcement on the website. So if it doesn't come in the email, that's how you found it?
That's where I went. That's right.
Good thing you started doing that.
So that worked. Okay.
It does run the risk of the Zoom bombers, but we decided better that you all have a definite way in, and we will risk the Zoom bombers. And so far it hasn't happened. Next person I have up is Megan, but Megan had said that she wanted to pass. So that's going to bring us down to Margot. Margot?
Hi, my name is Margot Garcia. I founded Great Leader Coaching to help good managers become great leaders. I help them become the leader that they want to be, the leader that their organization needs them to be. I used to work for a solar company, so I too am all about, saving the planet one rooftop at a time. Glad to be here.
Great. It'll be interesting to see what we find out for you that you might have been newer news since you left the industry. I think that covers everybody. Did I skip anyone? Speak now or forever hold your, or till January hold your peace. Anyway, not forever. I think that covered everybody though. Well, terrific. And I'll take my turn in, actually, I'll take it just now. I'll go over to share screen again and back over to that, sharing the screen. And here's my little turn. So Sue is someone who has to speak at her work sometimes, but she goes off on tangents all the time. She's exciting and energetic, but doesn't get to the point. And Pete, he knows how to write a through line that's really great. Unfortunately, he's bland as can be when he's giving a presentation. So the boss sends them both to a speaking class as if they have the same goals. And that's the problem. Classes are very generic. They're not geared for each person's needs, and you only get a tiny bit of the person's attention. But in public speaking coaching, you get all of my attention. So anyone who wants to be more prepared, polished, and powerful when they speak, whether it's that big one-time speech or the sales pitch they give every time or something new every week, if you want to improve your ability to give that presentation, give me a call and check me out at publicdynamics.com or through miloshapiro.com. And I couldn't see you on my screen, so I'm hoping I fit in the 45 seconds you were off there. Oops, that's right. I do have to turn off my screen. Brenda nags me even when she's not here. Thank you for that, Brenda. Okay, so turning that off, we're going to go over to our guest today, and I'm going to share a little background before I actually say something here. This was in Popular Science today. I just saw this today. It says, many of us assume that the reason so much energy still comes from gas and coal power plants is simple economics, that those fuels are cheaper. But though that was once true, that assumption has actually been obliterated by a recent decline in solar and wind costs over the past decade. When it comes to the cost of energy from new power plants, onshore wind and solar are now the cheapest sources, costing less than gas, geothermal, coal, or even nuclear. Solar in particular has cheapened at an amazing pace. Just 10 years ago, it was the most expensive option for building new energy development. And since then, that cost has dropped by 90%. So utility scale solar arrays are now the least costly to build and operate. This is a good thing, but it also has a dark side. And that's what we're looking at today. My guest today has been a solar consultant for years and takes pride in educating ratepayers in what's happening in the energy industry, regardless of whether they're solar consumers or not. She was a longtime member of the GSDBA, which is now the SDEBA, currently working with Smart Solar Design Construction, which is a local San Diego-based company. Kelly, welcome to the Power Lunch.
Milo, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and so pleased to be a guest today for the meeting.
Terrific. So just to give people a little more background on how this works, how does solar work on a person's home? And what's the relationship between the utility and someone who becomes a solar customer?
Sure. Great question. So, very simply, when we go ahead and install solar on a home, during the day, all the energy that the home is using, on most every one of our beautiful San Diego days, all the energy the home is using is coming from the solar array. On most days, the solar is actually generating more energy than what the home is using. In a very real sense, those kilowatts of energy are sent back into the grid. The utility company, we'll talk about SDG&E, will use the home as a little mini power plant and send that kilowatt directly to a neighbor's house. Right now, I guarantee you every one of us are receiving power with whatever we have on from our neighbors around us that have solar. As that's happening, the utility company is buying those kilowatts of energy from that home and giving them credit at the prevailing day, date, and time at the rate that they're on. And at night, basically those credits are stored in a virtual solar bank account. And at night, sun is down, lights are on, and the home is using energy from the grid, but they're paying for those kilowatts of energy with the credits that they accumulated during the day for what they put into the grid. That, in essence, is a billing agreement with the utility company that is known as net metering.
Okay. And I know that when solar came out, a lot of people are excited about the fact that, like you said, my house becomes a little power plant and I'm going to make money selling it into the grid, especially if I'm in a really sunny place like San Diego or out in the desert. So is that still true?
So it is not completely true. So when net metering, and when the official first net metering agreement came out between the utility companies and the ratepayers in 1996, it was known as, now we call it net metering 1. And back then, if you overproduced, you would actually get paid at the retail rate for the excess electricity that was sent beyond what your home was using. And that's anybody who knows had solar for 8 or 10 years ago goes, oh my gosh, I got a check every year from the utility company for $1,000 a year. That was net metering 1. And net metering 1 lasted for 20 years until 2016 with net metering 2, which is the current iteration that we're in.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that nobody was on net metering 1. I just thought it was too late to get in on it. So nobody's got it now.
Anybody who is, you were grandfathered from prior to 2016.
Oh, okay. So if you got it in 2015, you have it for 20 years.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Oh, those lucky people, but
which is very germane to what we're going to be talking about with where we're going with net metering 3.
Right. So before we do, let's talk about what 2 looks like and why 3 is a problem moving forward.
Great. So when the change happened in 2016 from net metering 1 to net metering 2, there were, this was a proposal put forth by the utility companies, And there were some, pretty landmark shifts. The biggest of these, which, almost all of us by now are familiar with, is the introduction of time of use rates. So the utility companies required, now they require, pretty much all homes are solar or not to be on time of use. But going solar in net metering 2 required being on time of use, which made it less financially beneficial. Still a very, very good payback to go solar on net metering 2, but not as attractive as net metering 1 was. Nobody's getting $1,000 checks back from the utility company when they're on net metering 2, but they are, but they're still a very good payback.
Okay, so I'm aware that the changes next year for net metering 3 from things that we've shared aren't as good for the homeowner. And I just took a big step with your company. Tomorrow, I get my panels tomorrow.
That's
really
right.
excited.
We're starting to install
I'm really
tomorrow.
yes. So I know that I'm still on the 2.0 plan.
Yes.
What's going to be different, and in the near, not too distant future, as people have to sign up on net metering 3 when they put solar on their roofs?
So there are some huge changes coming, and this is very significant, not only for homeowners who are looking to go solar, but really this is going to impact every ratepayer in the state of California. This bottom line, this all is about money. Quite frankly, greed, if you ask me. But it's all about profits and money. And what has happened is much quicker than any of us expected. Just this past spring, only 5 years from when net metering 2 went into effect, the 3 big utility companies banded together this time before they'd done it separately, and they put forth a new proposal to the California Public Utilities Commission, asking for sweeping changes to the billing device, to how the billing works from net metering 2 to net metering 3. The biggest things that we're going to see, what they have requested is for currently on net metering 2, which was not net metering 1, but net metering 2, there's a small charge called the non-bypassable charge. And that ranges from $10 to no more than $20. Most homes, it's closer to 10. The utility companies are asking for that fee to be as high as $70, $80 a month. Just
before you use any energy, you're going to pay $75.
Before you use any energy, that's just for the pleasure of being connected to the grid, just the fee.
Great pleasure.
The second thing that they're asking for is for the true ups. Right now, when you go solar, you get an annual bill. It's called a true up bill. And that way you get credit for the energy that you generated when the sun was shining in June to pay for the rainy days in February. It's an annual billing device. And what they're asking for is that true up to be monthly. And that is just, I can't even see how that's going to be disastrous. In February, you get no benefit, whatsoever. And then a lot of waste in the months that, it's super sunny. And the most significant, they're all significant, but they're asking for the rate of payback. So if you generate, your home will be, as you're generating and sending into the grid, as your neighbor is getting that kilowatt of energy from you, the utility company will be charging your neighbor, 25 or 33 cents, but only paying you for a third of that. They're asking for the rate that they pay you for what you're sending into the grid to drop to about a third of retail. Right now it's retail to retail. So currently the estimated time for solar to pay off, to pretty much, the payback period, right now, statewide, the average is 5 to 7 years. In San Diego, it's more like 3 to 5 years because our rates are so high with SDG&E. And as you said earlier, and thank you for pointing that out, the cost of solar has come down dramatically just in the 5+ years that I've been doing this. The payback period, if these changes go through, is going to be closer. It's going to be triple that. It's going to be 10, 15 or more years for solar to pay back.
Wow. The way I see it, if I'm understanding it right, in like January, February, March, there's still plenty of sun, but we're not using as much electricity because the AC isn't running. And in the summertime, the AC is running so constantly that we probably can't generate quite enough in many cases. And currently, I'm going to be saving up those credits from January, February, March, April, and then I can just deduct from them so that in the summer months when we want the AC blowing constantly, we're good. But now they're going to give me almost no money for January, February, March, April. And come summer, anything we don't produce with the solar, we're just gonna be paying at the normal rates. Am I understanding that right?
Right. It's basically right now, with the true ups, as I said, it's on an annual basis. So you just, for any month that you're producing more than what you're using, that's accumulating in, like I said, a virtual solar bank account. It's really, charges in and, or, credits in and charges spent. And it's on an annual basis. At the end of 12 months time, SDG looks at everything that you put in and everything that you spent and net them against each other. And so, our weather does change from year to year. We can have a very, very sunny January, or we can have a January that's rain every day of the year, or, every day of the month. So by going to a monthly true up, though, it's going to, that's going to dramatically, the math is just not going to work out as well. Between the higher fees, between the, cutting the payback rate to a third and the true up, going to monthly, it's just not going to make sense for homes with a lower, right now, even a home that needs a pretty small system, a home with a bill of $90 a month still gets a really good payback on solar for those homes. And that's half the solar arrays in the state currently are less than 5 kilowatts. It's just not going to make sense for those homes to go solar. It's the money's not going to pan out, and people follow the money. Over the years I've been doing this, and everybody's got a good heart and says, yeah, I want to do what's right for the world, but I really want to do what makes financial sense for me. That's why people go solar. So with all good intentions aside, if it's not financially beneficial, people aren't going to do it. And that's going to have, wider implications than simply to the solar industry itself.
Yeah, that's well put. I like the idea that we're doing what's good for the earth, but I didn't actually really consider solar until my tenants started pleading with me to do something about the electricity bills. And that's what finally made the difference. So this all sounds like a really dark and unpleasant thing. Why are the utilities doing this? Shouldn't they be doing all they can to encourage solar to reduce demand on the grid? Which we keep hearing about, there's too much demand on the grid. There's a way around it, and they're working against it.
Exactly, Milo. And I I hate to say it, but it really is a rather dark, and gloomy scenario. So the utility companies, if you look at your electricity bill, and I'm going to take a minute or two longer to answer this question, because this is really kind of the heart of it. When you look at your utility bill, which nobody ever does, right? You just get an email saying you have a payment due, an automatic payment comes out. But back in the day when we actually did get paper statements around, page 4 or 5, there was a breakdown of the charges that you were actually, what was taxes, what was, what was this, what was that. And the electricity portion, the first thing it says is electricity. The electricity portion is actually a very small number comparative to transmission and distribution. Utility companies do not make their money by selling you electricity. They make their money by delivering the electricity to you through transmission and distribution. And so it does not cost very much to distribute energy from your rooftop to your next door neighbor. So by squashing rooftop solar, by effectively killing rooftop solar, which is what they're trying to do, the onus then for the 100% mandate for clean energy in California is not going to go away. It's there, it's on the books. So the onus then is shifted to the utility companies to then be the provider of our clean power. Now, utility companies do build and own solar farms, wind farms. There are, we've all seen the giant windmills, those are owned by the utility companies. The power that's generated in those, wind and solar farms are then transmitted hundreds of miles through these massive power lines and transfer stations
and they get to charge for the transmission
that the utility company builds and owns. And guess who pays for the building of those? Where's the money going to come from to build those, massive, in order to provide 100% clean energy to the state of California, it's the power that the energy company is delivering, the utility companies are delivering. In order to provide the mandate, to satisfy the mandate, they're going to need to build an awful lot of solar and wind farms if rooftop solar stops the growth that, stops where in its tracks right now. And then utilities or companies are going to say, well, we have to build it. We are going to have to charge higher rates. And that's why factually, the math is that every ratepayer is going to be shouldering the burden of this, whether they're solar or not, because the utility companies are now going to have, all that more reason to increase their rates because, well, we have to satisfy the mandate. We have to build these massive, solar and wind farms and get them hundreds of miles. And by the way, destroy some climate and habitat and things like that along the way. So it really is kind of a dark and dismal scenario. And the utility companies are positioning it in such a way, their propaganda machine is positioning it in such a way that, to make it more, so that a renter, for example, they're positioning that, oh, you're paying for the homeowners in Rancho Santa Fe to have solar, and really, nothing is farther from the truth. But
yeah, I was just going to get into that. The ads make it sound like this plan makes things more fair because, well, like only the wealthy can afford to do solar on their houses, and eliminate their electric bill. But with what you're telling us, it's going to, because they have to build, SDG&E and the other utilities will have to build these solar farms, taking up land instead of nice rooftops, which is wasted space anyway.
Right.
How are they billing this as more fair?
Just through propaganda, just through propaganda that it is definitely true that there are many renters do not have solar. This is in your situation, you're a great example of that. You're a landlord that just finally, once you saw the benefit to you and your homeowner, you're coming out financially ahead. I mean, to your tenant, you're coming out financially, benefiting. Your tenant is financially benefiting. The planet is financially, is benefiting. It's a win-win all the way around. So absolutely, there are also smaller collaborations, of solar for smaller complexes. There's an apartment complex in Mission Valley it's all apartments, it's all solar, 100% solar. So solar absolutely is accessible to renters. It's accessible. And particularly, it's again, this propaganda machine is positioning it that it's the evil, rich people in Scripps Ranch and Rancho Santa Fe that, that are kind of, taking advantage of the people, who are not as, in the same income. In my experience, as I said, most of the systems that I have done have been for homes that are under 1,500 square feet, for homeowners that had bills and $190, $100, $120 a month. They're very, 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 it works out very well, to have their energy completely paid for in 3 to 5 years, and they have no bill with the utility company, well, except for those small non-bypassables.
So right now, 3.0 is in the hands of the CPUC. It hasn't been signed yet. When is this all happening, the move to 3.0?
So great. This is a really salient, that we're having this conversation right now. As you know, I have a connection. There's an association called the California Solar and Storage Association. They are the advocacy group for solar in the state of California. And this is a grassroots effort. This is not, the utility companies have, mega dollars behind them. That's again why we're seeing, this propaganda, they're putting out these ads. The effort to counter this is a very, very grassroots organization. So far, I mean, I have a contact there. I don't know how many more people there are. I would talk to Carter. He's my contact, but they are very much in the trenches in the fight to at least counter. We're not going to be able to stop NEM 3 from coming. It's happening. We're not going to be able to stop it from coming, but they are in the trenches to at least get some of the really ridiculous proposals reined back in, to have it be a little bit more palatable. And so currently the proposals from the utility companies are on the desk of the CPUC, which is made up of 5 appointees.
That was shocking to me. I thought the CPUC would be like a whole building. It's 5
That's what
people.
I thought too. it was shocking to me to find this out. It's 5 appointees. Literally, the hands of California's energy future and financial future for our ratepayers is in the hands of 5 people. And we need to really let our voices be heard. There's a petition that's circulating. The deadline for the CPUC is going to be making the decision on December 10th. The deadline to submit the petition is November 20th.
Oh.
So I just actually spoke to Carter yesterday. And so we have 10 more days, 9 more days to get 16,000 signatures. Believe it or not, currently there's only about 84,000 signatures. This has been going on for months, and there's only about 80 in the entire state of California. There's only 84,000 signatures. So
there's probably 85,000 people who even know this is happening. And that's
who even know that this is happening. Exactly. So again, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak about this and to get this word out, because this is, this is like, we're at flashpoint for this. We need to get signatures. The goal of the California Solar and Storage Association is to get 100,000 signatures, which doesn't even seem like that much, but they would like to submit 100,000 signatures to the desk of Gavin Newsom, who is the only individual in the state that has any sway since he appointed the commissioners. They are appointees of the governor, and this is not a legislative action. This is not assembly. This has nothing to do, with our government per se, other than, other than the governor. And thus far, even though, Newsom is favorable to clean energy, again, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. It's all, kind of a mystery to me. But according to Carter, at the Solar and Storage Association, he's really done nothing so far to jump into this fight. He has really done nothing. So what we're hoping is that the presentation, these 100,000 signatures to his desk to say, hey, the people of California, we know about this. This is not going under the radar. We want our voices to be heard. So I really would urge and encourage anybody who has any interest at all in their, electric bill, solar or not, to, I think you're gonna post a link to the petition. Very, very easy. Jump on the petition, sign it, and please circulate it to anybody that you know. That's really all that we can do at this point. Like I said, there's 9 more days to do that. Once that happens, and then December 10th is the deadline that they're gonna make their decision. And according to Carter, once it's done, we're not going to have an opportunity again he said it's going to be at least 2024 or 2025 before we can jump in and even request a new look at this. So, they're not going to stop fighting, but this is not going to be, this is not going to be pretty. And it's just going so under the radar. Like you said, most people don't even know about it. People who are looking into solar, of course, we in the industry are trying to educate our consumers, but there's just no big money for big advertisements and that sort of thing. So very, very grassroots. I really would encourage everybody, on the call today and everybody in the organization to jump on and to sign that petition. And you really, doing your part, whether you're interested in solar or not. It's just going to be helpful, overall to the climate. The impact of a kilowatt of energy going from your roof to your neighbor's roof, financial and otherwise, is so much less than the impact of these giant solar and wind farms. It's not exactly clear cutting in the desert, but there's still habitat. There's still, there's the hundreds of miles, to get it from east of El Centro to San Diego. What an incredible waste when we have the resource of every single roof in San Diego. And currently, the amount of solar that is installed on rooftops in San Diego is less than 15%. It's around 12%.
What a waste.
It seems, like we see solar everywhere we go, but in fact, it's really still in its infancy in that sense. One other quick thing too, this is also going to impact commercial and the private, nonprofit sector. For example, and I say nonprofit, for example, a school. Schools benefit a lot by going solar. Hospitals, these types of buildings benefit a lot by going solar by just not having these giant utility bills that can pay teachers more, right? Well, the fees for these non-residential buildings, they're expecting the average monthly fee for, let's say, a school in San Diego, they're projecting it would be $3,400 a month just for the fee portion, the $78 that
gosh.
would be residential. They're saying that'll be over $3,000 for commercial buildings. So it's just, we're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's a deal killer.
Yeah.
So I know that you said that we have through the 20th for signing the petition, but when will somebody who signs up to get solar on their house be stuck in net metering 3 instead of 2?
Okay, perfect. So we are expecting the decision in December, and they're going to give an implementation date, which right now is expected to be Q2 of 2022. We don't know if it's probably not going to be March 1st, but it could be April 1st, it could be May 1st. That's not clear at this point, but in order to stay as a net metering 2 customer, a homeowner would need to have what's called their permission to operate issued by the utility company before that implementation date. So right now we're on a time frame. It's about, it can be 2 to 3 months and more if an electrical modification is needed from contract to having the PTO issued. And so we're coming up against the deadline. I mean, there's still time, I would say, at least through the end of November, maybe the end of the year, depending on when that implementation date, exactly. But we want I would give anybody interested in going solar, I'd give yourself a good 3 to 4 months cushion to ensure that, you're going to stay in net metering too. And then
I was celebrating that we're getting those panels on the roof, but obviously I didn't call you last. I didn't call you last week about that. It's been a process.
I know. It has been. And again, I appreciate this opportunity to share this information, not only with my company, but every company in California. We're all dealing, with this. There's been an incredible rush of people who do want to go solar,
right? Because they're learning.
We all have to wait in line, with the city inspector, with the city inspectors, with the utility companies. And so, this is at the end of the year is always a busy time for solar anyway, with the tax credit. But we're looking at, if it goes January, February, March, April, May 1st would be, if we get projects started by the end of the year, if they give us till May 1st, we should still be able to make that deadline. And then you're grandfathered for 20 years.
Yes, that was the important thing. I thought at one point, why rush if it's all going to go away in 3-4 months? And it's not. It's because we're going to make it for the deadline. We've got it for 20 years on net metering too.
Right. And just a quick point too, those who are on net metering 1, when they expire, when their 20 years expires, they're going to be flipped to net metering 3.
Yeah.
So it would behoove anybody who's on net metering 1, and if anybody knows anybody who's had solar, for 8 or 10 years, tell them about this. It would behoove them to add a few panels and get a new PTO issued for net metering 2. That starts the clock again at the 20 years and keeps them in 2. So a lot of people are going to have a big surprise when their 20 years expires and they find themselves in NEM 3.
That's wow. I didn't even know you could stay on 2 by doing that. That's interesting.
Absolutely.
Okay. If someone wants to find out whether solar makes sense for them, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
I can be reached by my cell phone number, by my email, which I posted in the chat, text messaging. I'd be happy to do a no obligation, no cost online consultation. I just need some brief information. And, as we did everything online. I never was out to your house in Borrego Springs, and, but we've got it dialed in. I think you're going to have a great result out there. So yeah, I'm more than happy, even just for information purposes. I'm always available as a resource, and happy to chat with anybody. And just as an aside, anybody who does refer anybody to me, or who comes through the SDEBA, I do give a $500 referral thank you if you refer somebody to me, or a $500 discount on your own system. That's just an offer I've had since I joined the SDEBA. So So yeah, always happy to, to get those inquiries.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much for the education. I learn a little bit more each time we talk about more so that I can be an advocate for it. I saw Margot's eyes open wide at one point, like, what? I can get more panel? I can stay on this by getting another panel. So, well,
Well, yeah, I've got 44 panels on my
Oh.
rooftop right now. I don't know that I have any more room, but I got them back in 2013 and 2033 feels like right around the corner. So that's scary.
Yeah, so you're a net metering one customer.
Mhm.
We can make that work for you. we could make that work for you where you would not have, very much of an investment right now. However, what it would do again is restart that clock.
So would that mean all of my panels go to net metering too, or just any new ones that I would add?
No, your whole system would flip to net metering too.
that
Okay.
sounds like a conversation you two should have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Say that made it worth showing up for, Margot. That's going to save you money for what, 20 years? Terrific. I'm going to go back to my share screen now so I can remember what else we have to say. So give me a moment here. And here we go. So we had Kelly on and moving on. So what's next for the power lunch? Well, I am going to take a nice deserved sleep after 14 consecutive months of doing this. So I'm going to take December off, partly for myself, because it takes a lot of work to get these songs set up and ready. I look forward to January again. We're not going away. But I also don't want to conflict with the next big event that's happening the day after when we would have been together. So I want everyone to give their attention to that. In the meantime, though, if there are any back issues you haven't watched, go back and watch one of the many links that we have on power-lunch.com, and you can see other education in the meantime. I just need to take care of myself for a little bit for the month of December, so I come back refreshed. We do have one more big event coming in this year, our third of 2021. There'll be more next year, certainly, but we're happy to have one more big event coming on December 9th. And again, that would have been the day after the power lunch. So we don't want to conflict with that. So Jeremy, why don't you take a couple of minutes and just tell us what the story is with the big event?
Sure. I'm going to do a screen share here, Milo, real quick.
Then let me unshare, or you won't be allowed to. There we go.
Okay, thanks. Can everyone see my screen? You'll see the
We do.
2021 Equality Business Awards. So right now I'm just on our website. I'm on SDEBA.org. It's a good idea to check this site. I would say, maybe even weekly for announcements, updates, new events. Had you been looking at the website and getting our emails, you would have known that the nomination portal for the awards concluded on Monday, and that the early bird special, which are $60 tickets, do expire this Friday, November 12th. So to sign up for the awards, guys, it's super easy. For members, we have a very, very reasonable rate ticket price. For $60, it includes a 3-course meal prepared at Moe's. You get table wine and an hour-and-a-half awards performance. And this award show is going to be very different than the one we had last year, which was virtual, which I think that one went off very well. We had a lot of great collaboration on that event, but this one is going to be live. And so the nominees will be in the audience. It will be very dramatic because the announcements will be aired live and viewed live at the show. There'll be several performances. We're trying to turn this into a signature event for the entire community of San Diego. So a lot bigger in scope than we've done before. We have space for about 100. There's going to be, 20, 25 tables, including some VIP opportunities. So on here, SDEBA.org, click on events, and then click on the business awards. You'll see here we have the announcement. So the early bird ticket price, $60. You can actually purchase a table of 4 using that early bird discount for only $240. And that's a table of 4. Again, 3-course meal, wine. If you want to go a little further, we do have some VIP tables available. We have 2 left of our 3. One was already purchased. And so the VIP table, it's a table of 6. It's close to the stage. It includes a cocktail hour 1 hour before the event for your guests. It also includes commercials to be played during the award. We had that idea from last year. And then also it gives an opportunity to present an award as an award sponsor. The titleship sponsorship is still available. However, I believe that may wind up by the end of this week. So that'll be an exciting announcement to make soon. Every guest needs to be vaccinated against COVID or provide proof of a negative COVID test within 48 hours. Any questions about the awards at all? I know it's kind of be fun. Attire, holiday festive award show formal. Holiday festive award show formal.
I'm gonna have to open my closet for the first time in 16 months. Really? Oh my gosh! I had to pull out a suit.
Dressed up. If there's a costume or outfit you wear to a cruise, you know how some people get all dolled up for a cruise. This is the time to bring that stuff out.
Okay, but not Halloween dolled up, fancy dolled up. I had to pull a suit out of my closet for the first time in 2 years for a bar mitzvah recently, and it had holes through the whole thing. I was like, I guess it's been a long time since I've had to put on a suit. Okay, so I'll have to find something else. Are we taking over Moe's entirely, or will it also be open to the public?
So the outdoor patio is open to the public. Will be on the inside portion, on where they have the Dream Girl show. That's where the dinner's going to be, and then the viewing area is going to be that bar around if anyone wants to come and view.
Well, thanks. And the early bird special that I noticed as you were scrolling goes through the 12th, so it's only a couple of days left to jump on the better price. Okay, well, thank you. Wrapping things up here. If you haven't followed us yet, please do follow us on our Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/the name of the organization, or on LinkedIn. We love people watching and commenting on our LinkedIn stuff. The easiest way to find it is tinyurl.com/LinkedIn SDEBA. Our Power Lunch page just always tells you what's coming up and what's going on, and has all of our past episodes that you can view. So you can check out power-lunch.com for that. What's going on with that? Oh, it just shows that we have the past episodes. If you are not on our mailing list, you do not have to be a member to be on our mailing list and see what's coming up. The pricing may vary if you're not a member, but anyone can join our distribution list. So please click the over to join that. There's a way to do that. If you are a member and not getting our stuff, please add @sdeba.org as a safe sender on your allow list. Maybe our stuff is going to spam and you're not even knowing it. I know I sent out 1,100 notes for this and we didn't get 1,100 people. So I'd like to believe that 1,050 of them just didn't get the note. Guests can join too, as I mentioned. On the gray bar is where you do that. You can become a member, by the way, if you're interested in taking advantage of all this organization has to offer. Join SDBA on the website there, and you can talk to Dorian, who's on this call. He'd be happy to tell you a little bit more about what all the benefits are to make you see it's worth being a member. At the end of this, if people have said things or you want to get to references that we've had there, you can save the chat by clicking those 3 dots and the save the chat button. I also, in case you didn't notice, I did put the link to the petition. Please help people like Kelly and me and, I don't know, 20 million Californians save solar by signing that petition. Final thought for the day. Somebody said, I need to move the little locator on my screen so I can read what you can see. There we go. Somebody said, I'd put my money on the sun and solar energy. What a source of power. I hope we don't have to wait until oil and coal run out before we can tackle that. Anyone guess who would have said that? Someone in our industry nowadays, or maybe during the nuclear thing? No, it was Thomas Edison. Had the foresight to see that that was what was coming. Amazing man. Here he is creating the light bulb, and then he's thinking, now how are we going to be powering this thing 200 years from now? So he had the insight. Thank you all for being here today. If you have any comments on today's meeting, you can send them to the organization, info@sdeba.org, or if it's something to me, milo@miloshapiro.com. And that's all, folks. I'll be working between now and January, January 12th to set up our next event. I hope to see a bunch of you at our big gala event with the awards, and that wraps things up. Kelly said that she would linger afterwards. It's 12:57. We're going to stop the Facebook momentarily, but if anyone has any questions, she said she would linger for a bit afterwards. If not, we will see you in January at the next meeting. Take care.